Welcome to the Fitchburg Airport Commission meeting. Today is September 18th, and it's 6:06. My name is Commissioner Rich Liberatore, and I'm filling in for our chairperson, Clayton Raymond, who's absent tonight. This time, I wish to introduce the commission's present. To my left is Eric DeCall. To my far right is the DPW Commissioner, Nick Erickson, and I just want to remind everybody, Nick is a voting member of the commission. And to my immediate right is our airport manager, Peter Kettle. From Gale Associates, which they haven't come to the screen yet, Matt Karen is representing Gale Associates remotely. And in the hall with us tonight, hi Matt, how are you doing? And in the hall with us tonight is our newest member to the airport, and that's Ashley Matero, and she is the administrative assistant for the airport for Peter Kettle, and she's also the airport manager. Ashley, we welcome you, and best of luck to you. This meeting is being recorded by FATV. If anyone else is recording, please identify yourself. We're going to begin with approval of the meeting minutes for August. Do I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes?
Motion to accept.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion is accepted. Okay. Action items, I'm assuming, Peter, those are all ruled into the agenda?
They're actually all included on this agenda.
Very good. Correspondence to the commission, there were none.
Correct.
Matt? Matt, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm coming. Can you see me now?
Yes. Yep. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Mr. Chair?
We're doing swell. I don't have the finesse as Clayton Raymond has, but I'm just going to try to hold us together and get through this meeting, no problems. Thank you for attending, and give us the update from Gale.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you again. So for the record, Matt Karen with Gale Associates. We are administering 3 projects on behalf of the Airport Commission. Not a whole lot this month, Mr. Chairman, with respect to each of these projects, but I'll go through them briefly. The first one is the Environmental Assessment and Wildlife Hazard Assessment. So if you recall, we submitted the Wildlife Hazard Assessment to the agencies maybe a couple months back. We received comments from the FAA. We received comments more recently from Mass DOT back on September 10th, 2024. We are working with New Earth Ecological, who's the environmental subconsultant assisting on this project, to finalize the comments that we've received from Mass DOT. The comments we received from Mass DOT, there was nothing significant to require us to come back and get a vote from the Airport Commission or change any recommendations. The recommendation still is to proceed with the Wildlife Hazard Management Plan. So we have authorized New Earth Ecological to get that plan started. Just as a reminder, there was a line item in this project for that management plan, so there's no additional monies, and so that effort is going to be taking place over the next few weeks. Hopefully next month we'll have something to present to the Airport Commission, and then once we're done with that, we'll proceed with the closeout on this project. Any questions on this project?
And there's nothing for us to do on that?
There's nothing this month, no action needed from the Airport Commission.
Okay.
Can I just make a comment, please? I think it's pretty conclusive, Matt, that the 10-foot fence is required, which lines up with the CIP in 2025, I believe.
Yes, that is correct, Peter.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Second project is the design and permitting for the main apron reconstruction project. As Peter can attest, we've had the survey work taking place out at the airfields over the last month. That work is complete. The surveyors are working on the CAD drawings, And once we receive those CAD drawings, we'll begin our preliminary design, and we'll come back to the Airport Commission. We'll show you those design plans, present them to you, and just have a general discussion. It's a reconstruction in place, so it shouldn't be anything out of the ordinary, but we'll keep everyone abreast of how that project is proceeding.
Sounds good.
The Groove and Seal and Remark project, that is complete. The final inspection took place on August 27th, 2024, and the project was accepted by Mass DOT Aeronautics. Big thank you to Peter for his time and making sure that Aeronautics and Gale Associates could get out there and get up and down the runway for the final inspection. I know it was a lot of work and coordination her part as far as like the closure of the runway goes. So thank you very much for that. That is greatly appreciated. It helped the project, I think, go very seamlessly. So thank you again.
And that's all closed out.
That project is, we are in the process of putting together the closeout documentation for it, but the actual physical work is done. No need to get back out there for any on-the-ground work.
Okay, good.
And then, Mr. Chair, the last thing I have this evening is the MedStar legal documentation. If you recall, the FAA was allowing the airport to go back in and get a new grant application to recoup the monies that the airport had spent for the MedStar easement acquisition and the runway 14 end, as well as the legal fees and the settlement costs. So the grant application was submitted. The grant award was, I guess, offered from the FAA to the airport, and now we're in the process of putting together a reimbursement request to recoup those monies on behalf of the airport. The FAA system is going to be down, I believe, through mid-October. Once mid-October comes and goes, we'll get that thing submitted, and then hopefully the airport will see the funds shortly thereafter.
All right, very good.
That is all I have. Yep. Unless there's any questions, I'll hang on.
Anybody have anything?
Nope, thank you.
Matt, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Alrighty. All right. Moving on, the Fitchburg Airport, the Fitchburg Pilots Association, Young Eagles October event on the 19th, just one event.
It is. They actually requested to move because the Commission had actually approved the 12th of October.
Right.
But they're now requesting the 19th, and I got a response from all of you, and I've already gone back saying that, yes, the 19th was approved.
That date's available?
Absolutely.
Okay, do we have to motion that?
Yes, please.
Okay. Make a motion that we allow the Fitchburg Pilots Association to move their Young Eagle event from the 12th to the 19th. If there's no problems, if no one has any issues.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So they will have, was there a particular reason why they couldn't have it on the 12th?
There was a conflict
Oh, okay.
of people, not the airport, of people.
I was going to say, because we're very accommodating
Right.
to everybody and anybody, especially these guys, because they are just a great group and do so much for the airport.
Yeah, did you say it was something at another airport that they were participating in as well? Peter?
I don't believe so.
Oh, okay.
I think it was just conflict of people being available.
Okay.
You know, so
All right. We're going to get into new business. You have no new business. I have
no new business.
No new business.
Nope.
This is the first.
It is.
Yeah, usually we've always got something coming up. All right, then, we'll move into old business. RFP for non-aviation land lease, the update, please.
Basically, just as a reminder, this is for the restaurant land. When you're coming down the driveway into the airport, it's just to the left of the admin building there. I believe the RFP has actually been completed by the procurement division, Mary Delaney, but we're still waiting for the land lease agreement from Attorney Mead. So the last time I heard from her was that it's imminent. They're just about to dot all the i's and cross all the t's. So
Okay.
we'll get that out, and once that happens, if we can get a nice input from
When
people.
when they put the document together, do we have to review it too, or is it just the legal people in the procurement
It's just
department?
procurement,
Okay, then,
because we are a department of the city and they actually take care of that.
okay, so
I mean,
there's,
we've had input on it, obviously.
right.
And there was that small team that was put together, as you know. So it's now ready to go. So
Okay. So hopefully by the end of the month?
I sincerely hope so.
Okay. So we're looking for that. All right, the minimum standards, we're going to table that. That is an item that the entire commission needs to be involved in. So because we're not complete, we're going to table that till next month's meeting. Crawford Street safety update. Nick Erickson, what do you have for us?
So, we recently went out to bid with a paving and roadway reconstruction contract. The low bidder was Lazaro Paving, and we're working through the contracting phase right now. Several of the items that I included in that contract included guardrail for along Crawford Street and the locations that you all have identified as problem areas. I agree that they're problem areas, especially considering the embankment that drops off to the airport. It's a safety hazard for drivers. There's quite an accident history to support that. So my goal is to put guardrail in those locations as discussed. So the bid prices that I received back are actually very close to the estimated bid prices that I had prepared back in June of 2023. So the guardrail itself, single-face TL3 guardrail, came in at $42 a foot for straight sections, $45 a foot for curved sections, and I had estimated 1,160 feet and 290 feet for those respectively. So very close to the estimate of $45 a foot for both curved and face that curved and straight that I put together last year. Then for the end treatments, those are kind of the boxing glove things
Yeah.
you see at the end of the guardrail to prevent cars from getting impaled by a guardrail section. I had estimated those at $5,500 each. They came in at $7,200 each, so a little bit more expensive there than estimated. So in total, that works out to be $90,570, which is less than my estimate plus contingency of $95,975. So we're pretty close to the estimate.
Absolutely.
It's still a big nut to crack,
Yeah.
essentially. So we've got to find a way to fund that. I can look into Chapter 90. We sat down with the mayor on Friday and went through all of our available funding for paving, what we'd like to put together with Lazaro, what we'd like to do this year or next year. I have a placeholder in there for the guardrail, but we have to work with Lazaro to get schedule and cost estimates from them and all this stuff. So we got to figure all that out before we give them this assignment and get this installed in the ground. We do get a re-up on our Chapter 90 on July 1 of next year. So there's a possibility that if all the paving work shakes out and we don't have the Chapter 90 money left, we have to wait till next fiscal year to do that. But the ultimate goal is to have guardrail installed there sooner rather than later. So right now it all depends on making sure we have that $90,000 available.
The Chapter 90, is that grant funding from the state?
It's funding from the state, and it has certain requirements in order that need to be met in order to use it for certain projects. So it needs to fund, generally it needs to fund some sort of roadway project. So whether it's paving or guardrail or pedestrian safety, sidewalks, that type of thing. It can also be used for equipment. It can also be used for pavement management software. It can also be used for engineering costs and that type of thing. So there's a pretty wide range of uses, but it all focuses on transportation, essentially. And because this is a guardrail that would be addressing a safety issue along Crawford Street, then it is an applicable use of that Chapter 90 funding.
Any idea of how many feet we needed?
Total, roughly 1,450 feet, and that was based on a sketch that Peter Kettle had provided, and then I met out there with Peter on several occasions. I also visited the site with Sergeant Boudreau, and we came up with a general estimate of the extent of where the guardrail should be located.
I drove up there I think it was the end of last week. I just want to make sure we're talking that same area, because as you're driving up Crawford Street heading into Leominster, it's a gradual ride past the entrance to the airport.
Yep.
Then there's that first curve. Is that the area that you're concentrating on right now? That particular curve? I know there's the chevrons on the fence there.
Yep.
Or does it go beyond that as well?
So it's that section plus another little section beyond that.
Because there's one other curve. It straightens out and curves again.
Right.
Is that what we were kind of addressing, those two
Yeah,
sections?
exactly.
Okay.
Those two sections. So one is a big, long building. I think it's the old High Gear Products building. It's kind of along the southern end of that building, if you can picture that, right across the street from there.
Right. And then there's a smaller building just beyond that,
Yep. There's
a
a small-
driveway, and that's where that curve starts.
Yes,
And-
for coming from Leominster, taking that right curve, people going straight across?
If you're coming from Fitchburg, going into Leominster, it's on the right-hand side.
Yeah, no, but the chevrons are for the people coming from the Leominster side, it looks like,
It's
right?
on the left.
It's on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think the issue is coming from Leominster to Fitchburg. It's Fitchburg going to Leominster,
Oh, really?
where,
Okay.
again, I drive that road frequently just to get the sense of what is it, why is this such an issue that cars are catching into the fence?
Right.
And we're planning on next year of putting a brand-new fence, a 10-foot fence required by the FAA. And, you know, it just doesn't make sense to put up a big, beautiful stockade fence, and next thing you know, it's a catcher's mitt for every other vehicle traveling from Fitchburg to Leominster, because that seems to be the issue.
Right, and it's a little, it's deceiving when you're out there. You'd think it would be the other direction when you're coming from Leominster to Fitchburg, because it's actually a sharper curve. But the way that the road is crowned, the way that it's pitched, and I think the fact that you have that fence on one side versus the open high gear lot on the other side, it's worse actually coming from Fitchburg going into Leominster for some reason. And that's where we've seen the accidents. That's where people continue to go through the fence, and it's always coming from Fitchburg going to Leominster, which is strange.
yeah.
But it is actually a sharper curve if you're coming the other direction.
Yeah.
But you have that open high gear lot on that curve side, so I think if a vehicle was to go off the road, they would just go into that open parking lot versus through the fence.
Yeah. Are there the chevrons coming from Fitchburg to Leominster as well, going to the left?
There's chevrons on the fence right now.
Yeah.
So if you're coming from Fitchburg to Leominster, it's on the right. I don't
Yeah.
believe
I've
there's
seen
any.
them the other way
It's on
coming
the
from
left.
Leominster.
It's on the right.
Are there some on the left side too?
No, it's on the right.
On the right, okay.
Are you keeping the chevrons up there, too?
If they're there,
Goal is
leave
to
them.
leave them
Yeah.
up there, yeah, it's not going to hurt anything.
You know, I was going to say, because I was driving from Leominster towards Fitchburg, and on that curve, there's a dispensary on the right there.
Yeah.
I think that's where I saw the chevrons pointing to the right. But I don't think I've ever noticed them coming from Fitchburg, pointing
No.
to the left away from the fence on that
No,
side.
the chevrons are pitched and pointed as the curve, as you're approaching that curve.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check out the ones that you're talking about.
Yeah,
You know
I
where the marijuana facility is, that is one of the curves that's in question, right across from AMP, Atlantic Medical Partners.
Okay, but that's not the one you're talking about then.
Right, there's two sections. So there's one across from High Gear, there's one across from AMP. Both of those sections are included in this
Okay,
this
okay.
estimate.
The high gear is probably the most abused.
Yeah, that's the one with the serious drop-off.
Yeah.
We had a car that rolled down the
Yeah.
embankment there. It's a miracle the guy didn't actually.
The only thing, I didn't go at night, I don't think there was a lighting issue. I don't think there's any lights on Crawford Street, right on that corner.
No, I don't think there are.
You know, so it's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's just the headlights of the vehicles traveling.
I don't think there's even any utility poles in that section. I think they
No,
stop
there's
at
not.
the airport. And that's part of the issue. It's not easy to just run electrical down there and put up lights to address the lighting issue. It'd almost be, I think it'd actually be cheaper to install the guardrail. Lighting's probably going to be expensive if we're talking several utility poles, plus getting Unitil out there to extend the lines, plus putting up the electrical fixtures, plus the ongoing operation and maintenance costs for an electrical fixture.
Yeah, but
You're talking
That's why
well
those
over-
chevrons work so well. You know, they really do. It blazes out when you've got your lights on. It just
Right.
takes you in the right direction.
No, they
I
do
mean,
work.
this has
They
been
pick
worked
up.
on now for over 2 years, so let's reinvent the wheel. Let's just keep on doing. You're doing a great job. Let's get it done.
Yeah.
You know?
When is the
So-
stockade fence going up?
That's planned for, I believe, September.
September of next year?
Yes, but I've got a question for you.
Sure.
What takes priority? Filling the potholes, repaving the roads, or a safety issue like we have?
It all depends, because potholes can contribute to a safety issue also.
But they haven't so far.
Not on Crawford Street, but elsewhere in the city they
Oh,
have.
no, I understand.
Yeah.
But I mean, nobody's been killed but we're in a situation where we've really got a dangerous situation. If they go through that fence, that's, I don't know how that guy got away with it. I just don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know the answer to that. We actually had one of our wastewater treatment plant employees have an accident in that same corner. So, I mean, even our employees that drive around the city daily
time. Yeah.
have issues navigating that.
Yeah.
So, to answer your question, though, Peter, I would say a safety issue would probably take precedent. But there's a lot of complications.
I know.
That's a
I know.
difficult question to
I know.
answer. There's a
It
lot of
is.
ins
Well,
and
what
outs.
I'll do, I will confirm to you the date that's actually planned for the CIP meeting.
Yeah.
All right, for the CIP meeting and the actual identification of the date, the
Right.
true date. All right, for the fence.
Yeah, and I'll talk to, so once we're through the contracting phase with Lazaro, we've got our list of projects and priorities that we need to put in front of him. And then we need to kind of get a sense from him what his availability is to start knocking those projects out.
Right.
And the guardrail will be on that list.
Excellent.
And then we'll have to be sensitive to funding as those different paving projects come in. There's estimates and then there's actuals. Guardrail's pretty easy to stay on estimate because you know the linear footage and you have your bid quantity and bid price. When you're paving, there's a lot of stuff underground that you come across that you didn't plan for. So that's why I'm a little concerned if we end up doing some of these paving projects, come across some big unknown and say the price goes up, well, that might eat into the budget for this guardrail. So that's why we got to be cautious. And
Knowing there's two sections, that immediate first curve, I'd say that'd be a primary concern of ours.
yeah,
Yeah, we can take care of that. Commissioner, we really appreciate the work. You've been at this for quite a while, and we appreciate the back and forth with the Mass DOT and all your work, but don't think it hasn't, work has been in vain. We really do appreciate your assistance, something we really need.
yeah, happy to do it. Honestly, I think this is a better alternative than the rumble strips. I think with rumble strips, by the time someone feels that, it's already too late. They're going to go off the road anyways, because usually it's either, in my opinion, it's either a sleeping issue, falling asleep at the wheel, some sort of an intoxication issue, or like icy, slippery weather. And rumble strips aren't really going to solve any of those except for the sleeping issue possibly, but who knows if you wake someone up with enough time to steer out of the ditch. So
And the guardrails will solve all.
guardrails will solve. It's a little bit more forgiving than a Jersey barrier. Jersey barrier is obviously lower maintenance. It can take a few hits versus a guardrail, but you know, that's why we have insurance too. So hopefully we don't have any hit and runs and any accidents that do happen there. We can, you know, get compensated for the repair through the insurance process.
Thank you. All
All right.
set?
Any other questions?
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Nick. Rocking Horse Enterprises.
Yeah, this is the private company that's looking to do the 30 new hangars.
Yep.
At the moment, there's 23 people who want to buy 23 of those 30 new hangars. So there's a big incentive there for this to go ahead. And also, Matt Carron at Gale Associates, he's doing the site work and everything else for this job. So all we're waiting for there is an agreement to be signed between Rocking Horse Enterprises and Gale to get this ongoing. And once that gets ongoing, then I believe a 10% deposit is going to be requested.
Yep.
You know, to get some capital up front for the company that's doing the work. And then hopefully we should start this year and have some up by the end of this year, all being well. So,
All right.
yeah.
When does Gale and Rocking Horse? When do they?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. They need to get together just to sign the final
Okay.
agreement.
All right.
Because Matt's ready to go, and I think Bob Montana's ready to go as well. He's the CEO of the company.
Yep.
It's just getting the two of them together to actually say, yeah, we'll do it, let's go. So,
Good, good. They're definitely moving forward on that. It's huge, you know. Any questions? All right. The after-hour bathroom facility, again, that's an item we're going to table. Chairman Raymond, that's one of his items, so we're going to hold that off for him when he returns. Financial review, approval of commitments and abatements, BJ's.
yes, my error as the airport manager, trying to get in as much money as I can for the airport. We had a 3.35% increase in September the 1st, as you know, and I have a list of about 37 people or companies that are involved in that increase. And I just went through and added 3.35% to every single one, forgetting that BJ's has a 5-year annual renewable contract. So I actually invoiced them an additional $15.17 in September, and now I'm asking you please to sign it now, just there, and we will issue an abatement, and that will square that account up. Excellent. Thank you, sir.
All right, very good.
So that covers the financial side.
Okay. There's no executive session for tonight. Our next meeting will be on October 16th at the same time, 6 o'clock. If no one has anything else to add or any more questions, I move that we make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Gentlemen, thank you very much.